Now, England came back from what has been a pretty average season against France in the Six Nations this weekend. They obviously managed to figure that balance out. Epic test match. What did you like about this?
Well, I like both sides, to be honest. You've got to be impressed with the French side and where they're at. The way they like to play, their attacking style. You talk about, no fear. That they just throw everything at it, and potentially what probably cost them. But give them a couple more years. They are going to be a genuine threat at this World Cup. They're a young side. There's a lot to like about them, and they were still within reach towards the end. At 23-20, they had the ball on the 22, and Dupont, unfortunately knocked it on. But he was exceptional on the day. But England fought their way back into it. They didn't have the best start, but they went back to what they know. Their mauls and Billy Villatopola. I think he had 18 carries. So they went to what they know, and they got the match winner through a man who's been under a lot of pressure in Itoje, and he probably silenced a few critics with a pretty big performance as well. So a lot of kicking, but I think international rugby, it's hard when you go from watching Super Rugby Aotearoa, where one team kicks 14 times and the other kicks 12 times, to watching international footy, where you do have to have a bit more strategy, and both sides kick 29 times. It is a different style, but I just think they probably won the arm wrestle and the chess match, and the possession and territory stakes wore down, and France just ended up having to make a lot more tackles in their half, and probably chanced their arms one too many times, and gave England the opportunity to chip away with penalties and put themselves in a position to get that match winner late. 76 minutes. It was late, but nonetheless they were in a position to do so, and did it.
Look, France are going to be scary, man, come 2023. Look, they're a young side that's coming on the up, and look, I just think the way you look at that second try, their second try trip, that special around over the top, and the return ball, and having block runners animated and going down lines, that's special, and it's just something that we haven't seen from the French probably in a while. And then look at that first try around the short side and using square hands, and the chip and chasing the Dupont, using that great ability to get one hand and then get it back inside for that try. So I felt really sorry for him to knock on that ball.
Yeah.
He's just been so good in the Six Nations, and for a decision like that, it was. I've done this so many times in my career. Sometimes it's a foot or it's a hand that just loses the ball, and unfortunately, that was the losing of the game there. But look, mate, I just think that France, they're brewing something special in that environment, and come 2020, they're going to be a team to watch, especially at home as well.
I think that's the funny thing is, they lost, but it's the brand of footy they're playing.
Yeah.
That our natural reactions to talk about them, and that's nothing against England, because at the end of the day they won the Test match, but they were a joy to watch. It was something about that French flair, and almost like you didn't know what was going to happen next or what could happen. And when they scored tries, it was pretty to watch.
Yeah, they've got depth.
And that's it, Chip. It's that French flair that you used to see. You look at back in that 2000, what was it, 99 World Cup? We're talking like a couple.
It's not mentioned
that flair. When you played the French, you'd always see the flair, and look, I know it's just great to see. And like I said, 2023, they're brewing something pretty special. They're going to be hard to beat if they keep continuing playing this attacking brand of rugby. And then again, they have that Northern Hemisphere style with their kicking. Like you said, Jip, there's been 30-odd kicks in that game. But yeah, it's refreshing to see for probably France, and we just haven't seen it in a long time for them, the way they've been attacking and bringing that attacking flair back.
Who do you pick at 10 there? Excuse my French. Intermac, Jalibert, Bello and Carbonell. Where do you go in the long term? Is it Intermac? Definitely Intermac?
Oh, for me, I think he's got a good balance. I think he's got a good balance around his tactical kicking, when to attack and when to play that territory-based game. From what I've seen, I've only watched a few number of their games, and I've just been really impressed around his balance and game management, and just knowing when to have the flair and knowing when to just rein it back in to make sure that they do finish games off and win games, rather than pushing it too far. Personally,
Bryn?
Yeah, I'm the same. I think his, the more that he can have his combination with Dupont as well, and they can keep growing that, and look, I think those are probably the two that I'd go with. Just around his game management, and then again, having that flair and having that balance, he'll only get better with playing more test matches. And, you talk around combinations moving forward. I think DuPont and him, definitely for sure.
Yeah, the youngsters are impressive. Let's talk about the youngsters down south. Who's impressed you so far this season as far as the youngsters in Super Rugby Aotearoa?
Well, I went with one from each team, so I was trying to think of. I could go for a multiple at the Blues, but the one I went with from the Blues was Harry Plummer. I think he's really found his place at 12, and I've really liked what I've seen from him defensively. He's really courageous. He does the donkey work there. And attacking wise, I think he came into his own on the weekend and really added to, I suppose, the attacking flair of the Blues and really came into his own. While there were all these other threats going around, and we spoke about Richie, opening up opportunities by what they'd shown in weeks 1, 2 and 3, felt like Harry did that really well from what the Blues had shown in weeks 1, from the bye, and then, really coming to the line hard and not just crashing, but using the ball to the width. I've been really impressed with him at 12, and I think it's exciting because he looks at home there. He looks really comfortable, and I know he's been around a bit, but I just think he's a young man just still finding his trade at Super Rugby level, and he's made it his own. I thought Sam Darry went really well at lock as well on the weekend for the Blues. He was, just in those effort areas, you can see that he's got a big future as well. Dallas McLeod, I think down in the Crusaders, has made a big stamped his mark in the 12 jersey. And I know he's on the bench on the weekend, and I know Davey Havili doesn't like the 12 jersey, but man, he looks good in it. Oh, yeah. So I'm sure he'll probably be that, and he won't see as many minutes while they're fit, but he's been good. Devon Flanders, I'm a big fan of at the Canes. Again, I know he's been around a while, but the more minutes he gets, he's pretty exciting for where his career can go. He's been great for Hawke's Bay, but he's just great with ball in hand, physical, and abrasive in that breakdown area, and he can hit defensively. He's a big, solid body. I think the Highlanders, everyone's going to say this, but Connor Garden-Bachop, I didn't really take much note of him at Mitre 10 Cup when he was with Wellington. Didn't really see this coming, if I'm honest, but he really played himself into it pre-season with the Highlanders, just from form, really, and they've just given him a crack, and he continues to impress. And then for me at the Chiefs, again, another guy that's been around a while but is backing up his counties form is Etini Nanai Saturu. Another young man, but he's starting to really deliver at Super Rugby level now and looking really, really comfortable and strong. What are you smiling at, mate?
I've written down 5, and you've just taken all of them. Just in great points as well.
Beautiful.
So I want to get some Tulu there. But yeah, I agree. He's been fantastic for the Chiefs. Flanders, yeah, he's abrasive.